Take care, David. The Cincinnati Insurance Companies. Everything insurance should be. Welcome back to First Take, presented by LegalZoom.
A small group of protesters flew a Confederate flag from the top of a parking lot outside the arena that was hosting the NCAA tournament games on Sunday. The NCAA lifted its ban against South Carolina holding championships in 2015 after they agreed to no longer fly the Confederate flag on public property in arenas, in areas surrounding the arena. Max, I want to start with you here. Will Kane also back with us. Will, good to have you. What is your reaction to this?
Well, I defend their right, as protected by the First Amendment, to make that statement. The First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, the document that the South fought not to be bound by. I mean, the North American slave trade, I also have free right protection, free speech protection, and I'll exercise that right now. The North American slave trade was an unprecedented crime against humanity. The Civil War was about slavery. The Confederate battle flag represents the fight for slavery. So people who are very offended by the kidnapping, torture, and murder of millions are going to be very offended by this. I am one of those people. So I would ask those who are raising that flag, what kind of person are you?
Well, I can't answer that specifically, Max, because I'm not someone who raises that flag, nor am I someone who wears that flag on any kind of t-shirt or anything like that. But I'll ask some questions back to you and Stephen A. First of all, let me start with this. I completely understand any African-American, or for that matter, any human being, like Max, for example, that says that's exactly and only what they see in the Confederate flag. A symbolism of enslavement, a symbolism of oppression, and there's nothing more to that flag than that specific symbol. I understand that point of view. I sympathize with that point of view. And it's one that I personally want to be sensitive toward. That's why I don't raise it. That's why I don't wear the flag. I don't want to send any kind of message like that. I also recognize this, that there are people who do, Max, raise that flag to this day, wear that paraphernalia to this day, for those exact reasons, perhaps pining for the days of that evil institution. But here's the question I would ask you and Stephen A. Is that truly all that symbol stands for today? Is it limited to that? When a girl wears that on a bikini at spring break in Alabama, is that the message she's sending? Is that what she's trying to say? That she's pining for the days of slavery? When the General Lee put it on his car during the Dukes of Hazzard, was that the message that it was advocating for? Oh, we just wish for the days? I mean, I'm going to let you guys both answer, but I think you're probably going to agree with me. No, it does stand for something else. It does stand for regional identity, regional pride. The South does maintain pride in its geographic identity, for its culture. I'm from Texas. We have a huge amount of pride in our culture, our history, our identity. We raise that Texas flag as much as possible to send that message out. The South is similar. And there are those who want that flag to retain that regional pride, who really do fly that flag without all the baggage attached to it, whether they intend to or not. They are not subscribing to that. And all I would say is this: when you see that, I think that's the reason, Max, Stephen A., this fight drags out. If it were just about a symbol of slavery, we wouldn't keep having this fight. But it means more to more people. And I don't know what these guys, by the way, this small group of protesters in South Carolina, I don't know specifically what they're searching for, what message they're trying to send. But there are those who simply want it to continue to mean regional pride, regional identity.
Reading from an article on CNN last year, I remember they said something about how the Confederate flag, it's a racist symbol that represents a war to uphold slavery, as Max Kellerman just alluded to. Last time I checked, Max Kellerman feels that way. You recognize that in the eyes of the African American community, that's exactly how it's viewed.
Absolutely.
Me being a black man, I'm here to tell you that's how it's viewed. I'll ask a rhetorical question. Why is that not enough? Jewish folks remind us constantly about what their plight was through Nazi Germany and beyond. And as a result, we don't challenge what they say. We respect the fact that as Jews, this is what they endured. It's what they highlighted. It's what they have disseminated to the masses. We respect it and we fall back. How come the same decency? How come the same, whatever word we want to use, isn't accorded to the African American community? I am here to tell you right now that there are African Americans throughout this nation that would tell you that the Confederate flag, to them, is the equivalent of an American swastika. That's what they would say. That's what they would say, black folks, because we're talking slavery. We're talking people being maimed. We're talking people being tortured.
Slavery was a Holocaust. Slavery was a Holocaust.
That's
It was
right.
a Holocaust.
That's right. I appreciate that. So stay with me. Stay with me. All I'm saying is that I can respect the fact that that's not what it is to a white person from the South, because you're talking about holding on to quote-unquote Southern pride and the like.
Just to be clear, in answering my question, you're saying you do see that there are some who would adopt that flag free of all of those symbols you just said you see in it.
Yes, but what I'm saying to you is that just like we could sit back, we have a mosaic that is the United States of America. We've got Jewish folks, we've got Catholics, we've got Christians, we've got Muslims, we've got everybody up in here, right? When it comes to the Holocaust, when it comes to Jewish folks and what they feel and what they have chronicled, their people have had to endure. What do? We fall back. So what I'm saying is, let's be consistent. In the United States of America, if we're going to do it for one, do it for somebody else as well. There is no disputing slavery. There is no disputing what went on. There is no disputing the insidious, repugnant, just ungodly acts that have taken place in this nation's history. It's well chronicled. So if that is not in dispute, and black folks are saying, hey, this is what it is, then that should be all that's required. Because remember, when the folks in South Carolina was murdered by Dylan Roof and what have you, they felt the need to take down a Confederate flag then because they recognized they had to stomach the fact that it was undeniable what it represented.
Okay, I want to answer your question.
Sure.
Why is that?